Yeah, what's going on, boys and girls? Your man right here, the one and only Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. You're checking out a special edition of the RCWR show coming at you this Sunday night of December 13th, 2015, as we are talking WWE TLC Fallout. We are doing this live exclusively for our Spreaker audience right now, but this will be available on demand on various platforms, including YouTube. I want to give a shout out to our YouTube audience, as normally, visually, you'd be seeing me right about now. I'm a little bit under the weather. I've been suffering from a severe cold the past several days. I'm kind of getting over the hurdle just a little bit, but I'm still not out of the woods just yet. So pretty much that's why you are not seeing me visually right now, but I promise you guys next go around you'll definitely see me live in the flesh as always. And this is a special shout out to our YouTube audience. If you're looking for the actual WWE pay-per-view event itself, you want to do yourself a huge favor and you want to go sign up for the WWE Network, depending on your respected neck of the woods. Hopefully it is free. If not, you can definitely go to Walmart. You can get yourself a subscription card. Don't have to worry about a credit card, anything of that nature. Just if you have the money, get yourself a little subscription for a month or 3 months, and you can enjoy the WWE Network that way. Want to hear from you guys for the next little bit that we're going to be on. You can interact a couple of ways. Want to hear about it? Here you go. Twitter at the RCWR show. Facebook, like our page, follow us on there. Infinity One Productions. That's with an E, spell out one, Infinity One Productions. Want to take this time to thank the many of you that took part on our interactive poll on Twitter, polling you guys pretty much for every single match. Didn't have a chance to do the last match, which we will definitely talk about just a hot minute, but I do appreciate the love and support from you guys as always. All right, so let's go ahead, let's jump right into it. I think we've beat around the bush just long enough for me to put out all the tweets, and actually, there's one more tweet I need to put out. I need to make sure that we got this retweeted for those that's going to be checking this out maybe via Facebook. Yeah, I guess we should put a little thing out for the Facebook audience. But while I'm doing that, was I the only one that was having a hard time accessing the WWE Network tonight? I'm assuming not. I mean, I was checking out social media a little bit and kind of seemed like there was like a huge outrage of WWE fans that did not appreciate the fact that they were not able to access the WWE Network, whether it was for their PlayStation device or maybe it was for their Xbox or maybe it was their tablet. You name it. It was just really weird because, like, I tried to get on, like, right at 7 o'clock, and it just was not working for me, and I just kept trying, and it's like, okay, well, what the heck is going on? And soon enough, I go online, I see I'm not the only one that's having the problem. Now, I learned a trick. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this trick, but apparently for Xbox users, there's an area on your dashboard where if you hit up the guide and all that, you go to, I think, system info. Basically, you go to the memory area. There's an option where you can select clear cache. Now, that does not delete the entire memory that is on your hard drive or on your memory card, whatever. It doesn't do that. It just clears the cache, kind of like a clearing of cookies, history of sites that you've been to or whatever. That's just basically what the clear cache option does. And usually when you do that and you go back into launching the WWE app, that fixes it. But I noticed that the 3 times that I did it, it was not working, and it kind of had me go, okay, well, what the hell is going on? But it took about, I would say honestly, it took about maybe, I would say at least 25 minutes for it to finally kick in, and it finally worked. I don't know what devices you guys were using, but like I said, I couldn't access it on the Xbox. I couldn't access it on the iPad. I couldn't even access it on the website when I tried just going on my laptop and accessing it. So it was really weird what was going on. But after it kicked in, it was pretty much a couple of hiccups here and there, a lot of hiccups, but I would say for the most part, my stream was pretty consistent. I don't know about you guys, but I'd love to hear your frustrations or whatnot, if you have any. Pre-show match, pretty solid matchup. Shout out to the Boston crowd too, by the way. Boston crowd for the most part, you know, they were kind of into it, but there was just some matches where they were pretty quiet, and you're kind of like, damn, what's going on? Why isn't Boston representing? But then again, Boston, TD Garden, a little bit of a tough crowd. First match, pre-show match, Sasha Banks. She defeated the team of, she defeated Becky Lynch via submission. Great storytelling in that matchup. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Ran about over 11 minutes long. You know, I see a lot of you are noticing this as well. On top of Sasha Banks, Naomi, Tamina Snuka doing the whole unity, it's just really kind of coming off as if, and I hate to admit this, but just the vibes that I've been getting so far the past couple of weeks, they're really coming off like a female version of New Day. I will definitely admit that. A lot of you guys were like, what's going on? Why are these girls kind of going? On the one hand, I kind of understand the direction that these girls are going in. But then on the other hand, I'm just kind of like, can we go in a different direction? But then there's part of me that's like, well, this is kind of catchy. It could kind of catch on if it gets enough momentum behind it, if the fans get behind it. But tonight was just downright silly. It wasn't even quirky. It wasn't even funny. It wasn't even silly. They opened up with like this, it felt like an eternity, but I think it was just probably a 3-4 minute skit where they were singing a spoof, if you will, of a Christmas Carol song, you know, and a cottage and a pear tree. They were doing something like that, their own little spoof to it. But man, did it suck. It sucked big time. It was so horrific to listen to. And I like all three of those girls. I've had my constructive criticism about Tamina in the past. I've been very nice with my constructive criticism. I haven't been too hard on her because I know she has her respected fans and all that. But part of me is tolerating this right now because it's like I look at a girl like Sasha Banks. She just radiates charisma. She radiates personality. She is just someone that you're just like, boom, you're very easy to gravitate towards. You know what I'm saying? But then when you look at the other two girls, and I hate to use the term her henchwomen or henchmen, so I'll just say supporting cast. I think those are nice words, yeah? When you look at the supporting cast, it's just like they're just there, if you will. Especially when you look at the matches and you're like, man, these girls aren't really kind of, at first, they really weren't running rough shots as far as doing any and all types of interferences, basically having each other's backs whenever they would go into singles competition and all that. But I will say that as of late, it kind of seems like they've been stepping it up a little bit more. They've been trying to help one another out whenever a singles match occurs, depending on who the opponent is. But I think what's really starting to happen right now is, I think WWE Creative is seeing that Sasha is able to get all this personality. You know, the fans are able to gravitate towards her. And I think they're just kind of using that as like a soft launch, if you will, to try to also have Naomi and Tamina capitalize on that. Now, Naomi has always had personality. It's taken a while to really come out, but she's always shown traces of great showmanship. No doubt about it. I've been a big fan of Naomi for a couple of years now. Saw a lot of great potential in her and everything, and I'm still a big fan of her work. She's definitely able to complement Sasha very well. Tamina, on the other hand, she just seems so... You could just tell she's not comfortable. Right down to... Peep this out now that I'm saying this. Watch when she comes out to the ring and how insecure she might feel with how she's moving a certain way. Like, she'll be real quick to kind of like take her leather vest, and she's always concerned about her appearance. Now, I don't know if maybe she's a little bit insecure because, she's not obese. She has nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, she's thick, but she's thick in the right places, I personally feel. But if she's feeling that type of insecurity where it shows, is all I'm saying. From the moment that she comes out to the ring to the way that she's trying to, hopefully by her being with Sasha and Naomi, and now Naomi's got the green light to reflect more personality. She's basically playing off of Sasha Banks. I'm hoping that in due time Tamina will be able to really break out. Otherwise, if I were to just look at who's the strong two right now in the stable, yeah, for sure, rank 1 goes to Sasha, rank 2 definitely goes to Naomi, but I'm very concerned about Tamina right now. If it were up to me right now, just the little bit that I've seen of Nia Jax, I would take out Tamina and I would put Nia in Tamina's place. Those of you that have been faithfully following NXT, you know what I'm talking about. I think many of you would agree that is actually a pretty damn good pick. If you see that happening in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months, remember you heard that here first. But I thought it was a great matchup between Sasha Banks and Tamina. Crowd definitely wanted them some Sasha Banks. I was expecting them to go, hey, we want some Sasha Banks. Hey, we want some Sasha Banks. NXT fans, you get that little joke I just made. Actual card, we go. New Day. Big E, Kofi Kingston took on the team of the Usos, the Lucha Dragons. This was a solid freaking opener for the TLC pay-per-view. I must admit, I thought it was going to be a good little tag match, but I had no idea this tag match was going to be like. Let me tell you about this tag match. I recall a lot of tag matches, and I'd be here all night if I were to just even try to name 10 off the top of my head right now. But when I look back on all the tag matches that we've had this calendar year, this tag match for me was probably one of the best. I'm not going to say the best for 2015, because I'm sure some of you loyal listeners out there can probably think of some better tag matches, but I will definitely say this was one of, stress that again, one of the best tag matches I've seen this calendar year. It definitely far exceeded my expectations. It had me on the edge of my seats. I just was glued to the TV. This was a damn good match. If I were to point out any match to try to encourage somebody that did not see TLC, maybe they decided, you know what, I just want to skip the pay-per-view overall. Seems like it's going to be weak, whatever, or the card just looks too predictable as far as the winners go. I understand where you're coming from, but I would highly encourage you to go out of your way. I don't care how you do it. It's none of my business how you do it. But I would encourage you to go look up this tag match in its entirety. It's about 17 minutes long. Fantastic tag match. Kalisto really shined big time. I love the spots that they were giving him to break through. It really seems like WWE Upper Brass is trying to get behind this young man very hard. I know there's been a lot of comparisons to a Rey Mysterio, if you will, and you know, I definitely see that, but at the same time, I hope they allow this young man to just naturally be who he wants to be, and if he's able to get that cult following like a Rey Mysterio, then that is just awesome. But I love the time and the spots that Kalisto had in this match. Sin Cara was good as well, but I gotta say, Kalisto really shined in this match. So much so, at one point, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but at one point, We even heard Michael Cole say on at least 2 occasions he referred to Kalisto as Del Sol. And I just thought that was badass that he referred to him by his indie name, if you will. And I'm like, whoa, did Cole just... And sure enough, he said it a second time. And I was like, if you guys didn't hear that, I'm pretty sure I heard that right. I know somebody's going to be like, yeah, Lee, I definitely heard that as well. Your funniest spot in that match, Usos, you can always depend on the Usos. When have the Usos let us down? I mean, seriously, really think about it. They have, like, it's been rare. Very rare, maybe to none, that the Usos has been, like, a letdown or whatever. Funniest spot in that whole match, New Day, they did retain their tag team titles. They actually had some help by Xavier Woods, who was doing a little bit of color commentating, right alongside JBL, Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler. And at one point, he just thought that, like, new tag champions was about to get crowned as Kalisto was on the ladder and he was getting ready to climb up to the top. We see Xavier Woods excuse himself and he had his trombone in his hand. He gets up on the top apron and he actually throws his trombone to the back of Kalisto like it was a freaking arrow spear. It was so hilarious. I'm still waiting to see, like, if anybody did like a gif or a meme image of that, because it was just so freaking hilarious to watch. But it was with that help from Xavier Woods, would Kofi Kingston and Big E be able to capitalize to retain their tag titles. Hilarious. Great match. All around great match. Kudos to all of those guys that was in that match. Fantastic matchup. Probably one of the weakest matches of the night. Rusev taking on Ryback. Rusev defeated Ryback via submission. Did his traditional camel clutch like the Iron Sheik. I gotta give a shout out. I think it was Zargon that maybe mentioned it. I'm not really sure. But I was already thinking the same thing, Zargon, if that was you that mentioned it, which was, wait a minute, since when have we gotten to the era of not checking on the opponent when it looks as though they're passed out? Because, like, in previous matches, whenever there's been a submission hold and the opponent that is in that vice grip looks as though they're out cold, the referee is supposed to grab their arm, 1, and okay, it drops, and then you do it again, 2, rinse, repeat, and if they don't respond by the 3rd count, then yeah, you throw the match out. You say, yeah, that person won via submission / knockout or whatever. And, like, yeah, they have, like, not been doing it as of late. I thought that was kind of silly myself to see Ryback in that situation and he's not getting the count. I just thought that was just silly, quite honestly. I'd love to hear somebody defend the way that match was booked as far as the finish goes. But in all honesty, the match itself, it was just so weak. It was so passé. I couldn't help but agree with some of you guys. Some of you guys were like, later on in the night when we would learn that there was no Tyler Breeze. Hell, there was no Dolph Ziggler. It's like, what the hell? We couldn't get one of these two guys or both of these guys facing each other? That would have been more entertaining than what we had got with Rusev and Ryback. I feel where you guys are coming from, no doubt. One thing I will say, Lana and her outfit tonight was freaking smoking hot. That bad boy, how hot was it? It was freaking hot. To the polls we go right now. Use the hashtag RCWR Show Nation. That's going to be the new thing that we're going to be doing for you guys, as you'll be able to find our interactive poll that way. But we polled you guys all throughout the night, asked you about certain matches, get your take on it and everything. And if we're going to do this right, then we got to back it up just a little bit. I'm actually there right now. Well, give me a second here, guys. Boom. Yeah, let's back up a little bit for that WWE TLC tag team opener. Check this out. And I appreciate the many of you that voted. When we get our votes, we usually average anywhere between 35 to 40 votes. I mean, it's picking up. It's gradually picking up. So I appreciate that. That's a decent amount of votes. That's pretty damn good for us, I think. So pat on the back to those of you that chimed in on the vote. And remember, you got like 21 hours left to cast your votes in case you didn't vote yet. That is, if you have Twitter, we're at the RCWR show. Let's hear from you on that WWE TLC tag opener. Yay or nay? Vote now. 95% of you thought that was a fantastic opener. 5% of you thought, average, but not bad. Then when it came to the Rusev versus Ryback match, your options were good match. 2% of you thought that it was a good match. Now, by my standards, this is actually 100%, and I'm going to tell you why it's 100%. Because 98% of you thought that it was kind of weak, but Lana was hot. Now, let me tell you why it's 100%. Because there was, at first when I saw this poll, it was at 100%. And as long as we've been doing the RCWR show poll, usually while Raw is on, we do it. But I've also been trying to make it be a serious rotation, a regular rotation thing when we're doing the pay-per-views as well. And for like the longest time, it was at 100%. One guy had responded and he said, neither. So to me, his vote didn't count. Because I even told him, I said, dude, if I had the option to put in a third option and maybe say neither, I definitely would put that in. But like, you need to talk to Twitter and try to see if they can like put in a third option. I would love for there to be a third option. But I'm like this, if you don't see a third option or an option that you like, and this is a message to all listeners that have Twitter especially and you like to vote, you don't see an option that best reflects how you feel about a particular segment, match, what have you, I would highly recommend that you don't vote. Just think about it, for example. Imagine that you're at a poll and your first option is vote for dumbass. And then your second option is vote for stupid. Like, who would you like cast your vote for? I don't know about you, but if those are my options, I'm like, okay, well, for me, neither. I'm not going to vote. I'm just going to walk out and I'm just going to keep it moving along because they obviously don't have exactly what I'm looking for. Kind of like when you walk into a restaurant. You have a taste for cheeseburger and fries. Somebody's trying to, only thing you find is sushi. So, and you've never eaten sushi before in your life and you don't give a damn about sushi. All of a sudden, you're just going to sit down and you're going to help yourself to a plate of sushi? Frick no, you're going to take your ass out of that place and you're going to go try to find your burger and fries because that's what you want, right? Right. So, I think we all can be in agreement. I think we all are here to hear. You can't see me doing the hand gesture, but we're here with regards to that. All right, so let's see. What up next do we have? We went over the Rusev Ryback match, which was pretty weak. Lana, though, bodacious, smoking hot in the outfit that she was wearing. Alberto Del Rio defeated Jack Swagger for the United States Championship. Boy, I tell you, every time I see ADR, I swear he's getting more ripped by the week. That guy has just a phenomenal freaking build, man. I want to know what his secret has been. Is he cutting back on cardios? What is he doing? He is in the best shape I have ever seen him in, and I have been a fan of ADR since he made his WWE debut. I remember the vignettes going as far back as SmackDown. That's how far back I go with ADR. So, I mean, he is in some serious freaking shape. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm loving it. Great match between him and Jack Swagger. I told you guys earlier in the week when I was offering predictions, I had said a little something about Zeb Coulter being the X Factor, and I had a very interesting theory, a spin, if you will, on how I would kind of book things if I was in charge of it. Well, we didn't see it pan out tonight, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it might not happen tomorrow. It could go down tomorrow. So I don't know. I think I might be on to something. Those of you that checked out the show earlier in the week, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this match, I thought was really good. The fans had a really hard time getting into it. They were pretty quiet for most of this match. Definitely had heard some boring chants going on in it. There was some nice, insane spots with the chairs. That kind of like really got the fans livened up as Del Rio had hit Jack Swagger in the back, mind you, with a couple of steel chairs at least 4 or 5 times. That nice little finisher that Del Rio likes to do from the top of the turnbuckle, that nice low-key stomp, if you will. He pretty much did that to Swagger on top of steel chairs that was right under Jack Swagger's back when he came down, landing and crashing hard. That's how ADR pretty much picked up the victory and retained his title that way. Next tag team matchup we go. Oh, by the way, let me go back to the poll. As far as the ADR Jack Swagger match, 19% of you thought it was a heck of a match. 81% of you thought it wasn't bad, but it was solid. That much you guys did admit. I want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking us out right now live for the next little bit that we're live. Your host right here, the tongue twister. Let's try that again. It's live. Anything can happen. Your host right here, the one and only Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for checking out the RCWR show for this December 13th, 2015, as we are talking WWE TLC 2015 Fallout, providing reaction to the event. I got to give a shout out to David Hero of the Pro Wrestling Report. I am trying to see if I can maybe get a new update, but it looks like somewhere, I'm assuming I don't know if the guy lives in Milwaukee or maybe he lives in Chicago or what, but apparently David Hero's buddy Corey Catterall is missing. I repeat, Corey Catterall is missing. He's asking that you retweet the tweet that he mentioned if you've seen him, and also try to get in contact with David Hero. All his contact information is very easy to come across. If you want to see it, because he actually pinned the tweet, it's the first thing you see if you're following him on Twitter. Head over to David Hero, but that's with 2 R's. So hopefully there is a good resolution to that. I thought I favorited it and retweeted it already, but it doesn't look like it happened just yet. But hopefully there is a good story with regards to this. I'm sure that there's probably some family friends out there that want to know where Corey is. A lot of sad stuff has been happening in the news, as we all know. So just a simple favorite and a retweet. If you have Twitter, really helps out. Thank you in advance. All right, let's cover the rest of this card that we got coming up here. Let's see. We only got a couple more matches left. We got about 4 matches. Let's blaze right through it. We have the Wyatt family. That was Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. They defeated the ECW Originals, or the Team ECW, Dudley Boyz, Tommy Dreamer, and Rhino. 8-man tag elimination tables match. Great tag match. It wasn't as good as the tag opener, but it was still a good tag match. I'll definitely admit that. I'm actually happy that the Wyatt family got over. I pretty much had explained the reasons why when I was offering predictions, but just to kind of reiterate it again, basically my whole deal was with the addition of Braun Strowman, it's basically added a new threat element, a more serious element to the Wyatt family stable, if you will. And I don't know about you all, but I have just been really impressed with the work of Braun Strowman. He is just a serious, threatening powerhouse of a man. Love him. Love him tremendously. The guy's got a good, strong future ahead of him. I see a guy like that. I smell money if you do it properly. He had his spots in this match where he was able to shine. Fighting off. I mean, I like the spot that happened where at one point the Dudleys, they took him out. I forgot what they did outside of the ring, but I just remember they just piled on tables and steel chairs on him and all that. They just had him buried under all that stuff, and they thought they were done with him. But man, did he come back with a vengeance and pretty much cleaned house a little while later. Great match right there. Braun Strowman, he's the one that mainly shined in my book. Dean Ambrose was seen in a backstage skit talking with Roman Reigns, saying, hey, look, I got this match coming up against Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. You've got your match coming up for the WWE World Heavyweight title. We both need to go out there. We need to do what we need to do in 2015 on a strong note. Afterwards, we can go celebrate, go do a little after party. Roman's like, yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds what's up. Dean basically saying, all right, well, go handle your business. A little while after that, we saw Dean Ambrose take on Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. Probably the second, I would definitely say the second shortest match of the entire card. I wish a little bit more time would have been put into this particular match. Dean Ambrose, though. Dean Ambrose, shockingly for some of you guys, not to me, but Dean Ambrose, your new Intercontinental Champion, loved it. Loved every minute of it. I thought it was a really well-rounded match. I think the thing that probably threw a lot of people off was like, well, wait a minute, why put the belt on Dean Ambrose? Because Dean kind of needs something to do. If you really think about it, we've seen Dean Ambrose past several weeks, even going back a couple of months, and I made this argument before, especially when I was offering predictions. I said Dean Ambrose has been in the background a little bit. Kevin Owens, on the other hand, he's a guy. He can do his thing on social media. If you follow the man on social media, he's the freaking man. You know that he doesn't need a title. He can talk with the best of them. He's charismatic as hell. He just give him his bullet points and he can go out there and he can make it happen. Belt or no belt, Kevin Owens is just the freaking man. Dean Ambrose, I felt, was in dire need of a reason to be I won't say popular because he is popular, but you know what I'm trying to say. I think you guys are a good, smart, savvy bunch. You get what I'm saying. But now comes the critical point, which is what's going to happen with Dean Ambrose as the Intercontinental Champion. I'm hoping that with SmackDown getting ready to make its move to the USA Network, that thing that Daniel Bryan was talking about when he was the IC champion and how he was interested in having that title be exclusive to SmackDown, I hope they maybe try to implement that in Dean Ambrose. That way he's not buried, and when I say buried, I mean buried as in he's somewhere lost in the shuffle of a 3-hour show. Because unfortunately, it seems like that happens. Some people will get lost in the shuffle of not being booked on a 3-hour Raw show. So, besides, I think it'd be a really cool idea if you kind of have it be a situation where SmackDown really starts building its own identity and all that. You feel what I'm saying? Kind of have it go back to the Paul Heyman days almost. Remember those days? A lot of times SmackDown under Paul Heyman used to be better than Raw. Oh, those were the days. 2 more matches to talk about. Here's where I really get to have some fun and I get to let loose a little bit. If I'm going through these matches kind of quickly, I apologize. I am a little bit under the weather. Normally, we'd have a portion of the show where I would like, if it was YouTube, I'd read like a boatload of comments or whatever, but I want to have it be a short, simple show tonight, a little bit under the weather, and not to mention I did take some NyQuil not too long ago, so there's no telling how much longer I'm going to be able to last, unfortunately. Alright, 2 more matches. I want to talk about this definitely for a few minutes without boring you guys. Charlotte, Paige, Divas Championship. Oh, well, where do I even begin with this particular match? Well, I'll tell you what. It was a good match. Here's some of the problems that I had with this. And I'm proud to say that I watched Charlotte's career in NXT. I saw when she was a heel. Kind of saw when she went the face route right before she left NXT. I thought her work in particular when she was a heel, when she was teamed up with Sasha Banks, I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a really great thing that was going on, but I also saw great potential in Charlotte and Sasha having great singles career paths. And so far, I called it right. The problem that I have with Charlotte is it really necessary to have her try so hard now to emulate her dad? And it's so funny too, because I was actually watching this particular match with my girl, and even she was like, wow, she's trying very hard to be Ric Flair. It's like she wasn't doing all that in NXT. I'm like, you got a good memory. I'm like, yeah, I remember the same thing. And we just kind of both were scratching our heads, kind of going, she was a badass, you know what, in NXT. And it's like, okay, why not just amplify that even more? Do we have to put in the Ric Flair references? Do we have to go overkill? Do we have to do the strutting and the woos I could tolerate, but do we have to do the struttings? Do we have to do the bouncing off of the ropes? Do we have to do that patent rolling knee strike to a limb area and all that, or the chop block to the back of the legs? Do we have to go all overkill like that? I don't think so. And I'm just really concerned that creative is like doing so much to try to make her be like a female version of Ric Flair. I won't say that it can backfire, but at the same time, what I will say is, look, not everybody watches NXT, unfortunately. I mean, many people that have the network and all that, unfortunately, you got a decent amount that do not watch NXT. It pretty much has its hardcore respected following. So not that many people are going to really be able to recall Charlotte's time in NXT like you and I that did watch NXT can. So it's almost like trying to reintroduce her, if you will, by this freshened up new gimmick that she's getting, if you will. But I'm just giving you my early interpretations of it right now. I hope it like morphs into something else as the weeks progress. But just right now, I'm just not. I don't think she needs a Ric Flair in her corner just to try to help her get over. I really don't. I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, I don't think it's needed. I think it's overkill. But Charlotte, Paige, this was, if you were looking for a pretty well-rounded, solid technical match, I would definitely give it up to these two girls for this one. I mean, for me personally, when I look at like my top 3 favorite matches, I definitely got to give it up to that triple threat for the tag team titles. I actually enjoyed Del Rio and Swagger. I thought that was a very good one. Dean Ambrose. No, I'm actually going to go with Charlotte and Paige. Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens will be my honorable mention. Main event match we go. Oh, actually, before I go to the main event match, there was a spot that I did not like in the Charlotte versus Paige match. I'd be lit on fire if I didn't bring this up because I talked about it on social media. Critical moment which basically set up Charlotte to retain her Divas title. There was a point in the match where Ric Flair could be seen clear as day untying one of the turnbuckle pads. Referee sees him. Hey, what are you doing? Get away from there. What's wrong with you? And Ric Flair, woo, sorry, whatever. And so, like about, I don't know, I would say maybe it was a 10-minute match. So basically, like about maybe 4 minutes later or something like that, referee gets distracted again. Charlotte this time, she did see what her dad was doing with that turnbuckle pad earlier. She finishes the job and now it's exposed. She's waiting for Paige to come back. Basically, I don't know if she like kicked Paige in the knee or she did something that made Paige basically fall forward towards her. Charlotte moved out the way and Paige hit the exposed metal part of that middle turnbuckle section head first. And basically Charlotte was able to do a roll-up pin, retain the title that way. Clear as day as the referee. So it's like, wait a minute. This I can understand if it's old man Earl Hebner or something like that, but I don't even think the age really matters. It's like just the fact that you see that happen, like you don't have sense of your environment. I don't know, like when you play it back and you watch that match again, you're kind of like, especially when you see the referee's vantage point. And I think that's really the true story in itself, is the fact that when Charlotte did the move to Paige, clear as day, the referee is, he's got a good vantage point. So he can see from his vantage point, pad. And in this case, it was pad, exposed, and then pad. I don't know. I just thought it was just, maybe I'm overanalyzing that. If I am, I apologize in advance. But I just thought there could have been a better way to like kind of book it, if you will. If I was booking that match, I actually would have had Paige shockingly kick out. And then Charlotte, like, man, what the hell do I have to do? And then maybe at that point you could have had Ric Flair jump up on the apron, yell at the referee or whatever, maybe actually even grab the referee by the collar or whatever, and referee is getting really aggressive and he pushes Rick off and is like, you're ejected, and Ric Flair is just throwing his little temper tantrum, woo, and then meantime maybe you can have Charlotte, since they're going to have Charlotte be this female Ric Flair, right? I remember a lot of times the dirtiest player in the game, sometimes he would have himself some knuckles, some brass knuckles in his trunks handy. You could have maybe had Charlotte do a little something like that, KO, put the brass knuckles out of the ring, get the count that way, or just basically do like another distraction that the referee doesn't see while his back is turned away from the Titantron. You feel what I'm saying? And then Charlotte could have retained that way. I just thought the way that they did it initially was just definitely tacky, but no doubt this leaves the door open for these two girls to have another program. And then also you got to think about what's going on with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch ran into them backstage. She questioned Charlotte again as far as the way that she won. Charlotte was just trying to, as best as she could, it was a poor effort too, of defending, why she did what she did. And basically when it was all said and done, Charlotte was like, hey, look, we're still best friends. I just need to do what I needed to do to retain my belt. You understand, right? You understand, And I tell you, the way this is looking right now, it's kind of coming off like that classic Looney Tunes commercial with the dog. I think the dog's name was Spike or Butch. Big, beefy looking pit bull dog, and you had this little punk ass. I don't know if it was a chihuahua or what, but it was like, what are we gonna do today, Butch? What are we gonna do today? Huh? Are we gonna chase the mailman? Huh? Are we maybe gonna go down the street and bark at people on a bicycle? And Spike was like, shut up. He was doing some crap like that. And then, like, in the end, they basically reversed it. It was the big dog basically looking up to the little smaller dog. I don't know. I just kind of get this vibe. That's basically the way that they're going to go, which I think is an interesting path, if that's the path that they're going to take. Main event match. Sheamus, Roman Reigns. WWE World Heavyweight title on the line in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Boy, I tell you, when I look back on this match, the crowd, for honestly a majority of the match, for almost the entire match, the crowd did not give a flying you know what. They were chanting any and everything but Sheamus and Roman Reigns, and that's the honest truth. We heard John Cena chants. John Cena sucks. We want Cena sucks. Heard Seth Rollins chants. Even heard the NXT chants. I think there might have been a Roman Reigns chant. Now, I'm trying to think if that might have been the same match that also had a Jim Cornette chant. But the crowd really was not into this match. And it was so sad, too, because I got to disagree with Boston on this. When Sheamus and Roman Reigns were actually putting on a damn good matchup, I honestly felt. This was a really good physical encounter between these two guys. I was willing to embrace it because for me, it was a fresh matchup. I didn't mind seeing this. It's kind of, to me, it feels like it's kind of rare that these guys lock it up, Anytime I'm in a situation where I don't get to see Roman Reigns versus Kane or Roman Reigns versus Big Show for the gazillionth time, for me, it's like, okay, a welcome breath of fresh air when it's a new opponent, So for me, I had no problem with this match. I thought the storytelling, the pace of it was just right. I love the physical aspects of it. Roman Reigns and Sheamus just going into this match. I love how they basically didn't begin this match with a silly ass headlock. These guys wanted to get their hands on each other. From the moment the bell rang, Roman Reigns legitimately punched Sheamus in the face. I mean, the left side of his face got swelled up real quick, nice and beet red, swelling. I loved it. Loved those spots. 6 spots that was going on by the stage ramp. Trying to remember, I think it was Roman Reigns that actually went through, I think, not one, but maybe 2 tables. Shout out to the 5 fans that chanted EC Dub. They were pretty much alone on that one. I wonder if those were the same 5 guys that were chanting Byron Saxton during the pre-show. Makes you wonder. But there was some nice little spots that was coming about. I liked when the match was starting to get to that end point. That's where things really started to pick up, I felt, as it looked as though Roman Reigns was about to become the WWE champion. There they go, dangling that carrot. I know we got a lot of people that might have not liked the way the match panned out, but I tell you, man, I've been a fan of this for many, many years now, ever since I first began watching wrestling, which is the chase is better than the catch. That's always been my mentality. Always. And that'll never change. Roman Reigns getting ready to climb up. You knew the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's not their real name, of course, but that's what I'm going to call them, because that's, every time I hear their name, that's who I think of. Honestly, I'll tell you another joint. How many of you remember the classic SNL skit? It was a cartoon with the ex-presidents. I'm telling you, they got the League of Nations or whatever. They got that type of vibe. They've got the whole ex-presidents meets the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Take your pick, but that's just the combo they're giving me right now. That's the vibe. But yeah, we saw the League of Nations guys. They came out and they played the numbers game on Roman Reigns, beat him down. Roman, he almost had it, man. He had a little bit of a comeback, but Sheamus was able to hit him with a bro kick, sent Roman flying out of the ring. Sheamus tried to climb up the ladder. He thought for sure Roman was out. Roman actually came to, and he was pretty close to getting back in the ring. Sheamus was able to grab the belt at the last moment. And from there, that's when it really got popping, because we just saw Roman Reigns flip the hell out. He was just attacking any and everybody left and right, grabbing steel chairs. He was going to work on all them guys, sent them flying out of the ring. We actually saw the Authority. Yeah, the Authority made a little bit of a cameo appearance. So you kind of see where this is going now that you see them coming out. We see Triple H. He's trying very hard to calm Roman Reigns down. Tells him, look, you lost. That's it. It's over and done with. And we see Roman, he's trying to calm down, but he waits till Triple H has his back turned. And he takes the steel chair to Triple H, messes him up. I'm not sure if he was doing a spear, because I was starting to get ready for the show at that point, but I definitely saw when the action had went over to the announcer's table. Roman Reigns had set up Triple H. And I just got to say, Triple H, in recent years, Triple H has oversold moves when he gets them. So the moment that Roman Reigns is beating the holy crap out of Triple H with the steel chair, Triple H is just if you have it on demand or whatever, you got access to the network, or maybe you got access to it however else, I don't know, the platforms, where to go when you need to check out the pay-per-views. But if you have the option to pause and do it in slow-mo or whatever, you gotta watch it again, because now that I'm saying this, it's gonna be even more hilarious. Triple H is it's almost reminding me of the Hulk Hogan Shawn Michaels match. It's hilarious the way Triple H is overselling Roman Reigns spots, right down to when the action goes over to the announcer's table and we see Roman Reigns. Did he do a power bomb? I think he power bombed Triple H. Try to power bomb him through the announcer's table. It didn't break, and we see Triple H he's just gyrating. And then we see Roman Reigns climb up on the other announcer's table, and he basically does a leg drop or whatever. And Triple H, he is overselling the hell out of it. And it's so funny because then we see Triple H, he's getting helped too by his wife and some referees. Roman Reigns still not satisfied. He runs and he spears the hell out of Triple H. You just gotta watch all that again. Finally, the crowd actually went in favor of Roman Reigns. This was after the match was over. Just everything that he was doing to Roman Reigns. Just everything that Roman Reigns was doing to Triple H, I should say, is what really had the crowd excited and to the point they were thank you, Roman. Finally, Roman Reigns gets a unanimous positive chant, as I think a lot of people would be in agreement. We've had too much of the Authority right now. They've been going at it over a year, might be a little bit longer than that. So now you have to think about the consequences. This sets up a very interesting dynamic or two going into Raw for Monday night and setting up the weeks to come for the Royal Rumble event. And, I'm just based off what I'm seeing tonight, if I were booking this on some type of creative standpoint, I would say, first off, let Triple H be off of TV for several weeks to sell the injuries that he sustained from Roman. It makes no sense for Triple H to be on Raw in less than 24 hours. Okay? Second of all, the fact that Roman Reigns put his hands on a WWE official, someone in a high management ranking position. Now, granted, in the perfect world, you're fired, all right? No, I think what needs to happen instead, because remember, Stephanie's still there, so hell have no fury like a woman scorned. I'm just thinking from the creative standpoint, it would make a lot of sense to have Stephanie say to Roman, you're suspended indefinitely. This way, maybe it could kind of get the fans, they got to capitalize on that momentum that they got from tonight as far as the fans playing in favor of Roman. It's kind of obvious the story that WWE has been telling for several months. Some people feel it's kind of like the Daniel Bryan story, but that's where it's different between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. It was unanimous, the love, the appreciation, the support that many had for Daniel Bryan. But unfortunately, when WWE did try to test out Daniel Bryan a little bit with some of those pay-per-views leading up to him finally becoming the champion, the buy rates just was not there, and that's why they did the story that they did, because they realized that so many people wanted for this guy to be champion. But then it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago, the chase is better than the catch. Now, they're trying to use that same formula with Roman Reigns, but it hasn't had the exact results that Daniel Bryan had, because you got people that are divided with Roman Reigns, and a lot of that has to do, of course, with the fact that a lot of people are looking at this guy as like John Cena 2.0, unfortunately. Different topic for another time, but it's understandable, why they're continuing to, I know there's a lot of people, and I toyed with the idea myself of Roman going the heel route, but if it was going to happen by now, it would have happened already. It's pretty obvious, he's going to be a face. So if you're going to have him be a face, I say let him be a badass face. And what they did tonight was definitely something awesome and new that they put in motion. And I don't know how many of you guys had caught what Roman said before the pay-per-view went off, but when he did that final attack on Triple H and he was on top of the stage ramp and he was smirking, he actually said something along the lines of a new change is coming, or time for something new. He said something along the lines of, it was like basically out with the old, if you will. So if I'm just looking at this from a writing standpoint, setting up the Royal Rumble and all that, have Triple H be off for several weeks, have Roman Reigns basically be suspended indefinitely or whatever. Everybody's talking about the Royal Rumble. It's all about the Royal Rumble. Everybody needs to be trying to win at the Royal Rumble, main event WrestleMania and all that. I think it makes all the sense in the world for Roman Reigns to not be in a position where he can get close to having a Royal Rumble match. Now, at the same time, I also feel as though a new person may be introduced in the weeks to come. Now, just hear me for a second. I might be on to something, and I could totally be wrong, but I'm going to leave you guys with this. A certain person, if I'm not mistaken, has a DVD that is possibly going to be produced by WWE. And I'm talking about Shane McMahon. Now, it seems like as the years have progressed, especially this calendar year alone, returns of Shane McMahon has been popping up a little bit more and more. What just started off as rumors, it's amazing how in just this calendar year alone compared to the previous years, it seems like a lot more people are convinced that in some type of capacity, Shane is gonna somehow come back into the WWE fold. So if something like that were to go down, honestly, with the USA Network picking up SmackDown and all that, to have a Shane McMahon return basically in the beginning of the new year and basically kind of be like that yin to Stephanie's yang. See, that's how you can get a Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble match. But the thing is, you need to leave Triple H off TV just long enough so that when it comes time for the Royal Rumble, somehow maybe you have Triple H come back, screw Roman Reigns out of that WrestleMania match, and then maybe you set up those two guys having a match, I would think, like maybe before WrestleMania. I mean, I'm just having a hard time picturing Sheamus going into WrestleMania and leaving WrestleMania as the champion. I think he's definitely going to be champion going into Mania, but coming out, no, I don't see it happening as far as him coming out goes. So that's just my wishful thinking on that. Now, you take that how you want it. You can take out Shane McMahon. You could maybe put somebody else in there. I don't know if maybe Eric Bischoff would be interested in coming back to that type of role, or maybe if Vince McMahon might come back. You got me on that one, but just the vibe I'm getting, that in the way I'm setting it up, it makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. But I tell you what, we'll know what direction they're going to be going in with tomorrow night's Raw, as the next 2 weeks are definitely going to be very critical, no doubt. So with that, concludes the talk of WWE TLC. Taking to Twitter right now. I got this question asked again. Shout out to Ronnie. I think I addressed it before, but in case I didn't, I'll definitely address it again, as apparently the question is, Lee, can you do 3 or 4 options on Twitter polls? Do look into it. No, you cannot. You can only do 2 options right now. Trust me, if there could be 3 options, I would have already put it in there. It's not me you guys want to be talking to. You want to talk to Twitter, and you want to say to them, dudes, give us a 3rd and or a 4th option when it comes to these polls. We really need it. We need it bad. Thank you very much. See, go to Spreaker, because we're live right now for a little bit. Yeah, this is a side question. 216. Yes, I have it, but I have not played it because I have it for the Xbox One. I have not gotten an Xbox One yet. I think my Secret Santa is supposed to be hooking me up with that, or maybe that's going to be a birthday present. Who knows? Ray, Triple H wanted to put Roman over so bad with the universe that he personally took a beat down. Indeed. Lewis, I really think the WWE has messed up Sheamus. Wait a minute, let's try that again. I'm reading this word for word in real time. I really think the WWE has messed up Sheamus. I guess he's trying to say who is a terrible champion. The only way I can see WWE being good again, NXT needs to invade Raw. That's an entirely different topic for another time. I'll probably dive into that a little bit more on Tuesday. Brendan, where was Bad News Barrett during the Sheamus versus Reigns? Didn't see him. Now that's how you end a pay-per-view. Who did come out? Who was it? It was Rusev. And who was the other? And it was Alberto Del Rio. You're absolutely right. Where was Bad News Barrett? Bad News Barrett was playing it smart. But you know what? You asked that question. Here's a question of my own that I was asking as I was seeing all that go down. Where the hell was Dean Ambrose? see, that's another element that you got to think about too. Like, which is what exactly is going on with the relationship between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose? Because you got basically Dean Ambrose going, "Hey man, after you get done doing your thing and I do my thing, we're gonna go out and we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have ourselves an after party. It's gonna be awesome." And like, when crunch time hits, I've noticed this a couple of times now in recent months, when crunch time is really, really at an all-time high for Roman Reigns, there's no Dean Ambrose. So like, I would love to see something pan out, if not tomorrow night, over the next couple of weeks, where Roman just says, "Hey, look, we're supposed to be boys, right?" It's like, I figured, you wouldn't need my help in your match against Kevin Owens, because Owens isn't linked to the League of Nations, but like, I thought for sure you was gonna like maybe have my back. Not that I'm looking for you to fight my battles, but like, what's up, man? Dude, can I count on you? Or, I need to see something along those lines, because I need to understand why Dean Ambrose, and remember what I had said on the prediction special, just going back a minute. I said on the prediction special, I said the way you take out Dean Ambrose, the way you explain why he wasn't there to help out Roman Reigns, is because right after he wins his match with Kevin Owens, basically I said something along the lines of, you show him in a backstage segment, maybe he's talking with Renee Young about his victory or whatever. You show the League of Nations, they beat the crap out of him, you sell it. His injuries were so bad or whatever, they took him to the nearest hospital, and then you kind of have that tease going on where you say, "Oh, just how much of an impact is the League of Nations going to have in the main event match for the WWE title?" Well, we'll find out shortly. And then you could pretty much end it with those goddamn League of Nations, but then you can still do all that other crazy jazz that you had did with Roman at the end, where he just went belligerent on everybody. You feel what I'm saying? But they've got these little irritating loose ends. Exactly. Was Ambrose maybe distracted by Barrett? That's another great question, Brendan. I'm hoping that when WWE Raw comes on, maybe even through their pre-show, however they need to explain it, they need to justify definitely where was Barrett, but most importantly, where was Ambrose. That way, hopefully they'll do something like that. Hopefully on the pre-show, they'll play some type of pre-taped footage, or maybe they'll like release it during Raw. But they gotta explain that. They've just got to. Good thoughts right there. See, anything else we got coming in? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so that's going to do it. Oh, well, wait a minute. Exactly. ISPs. I don't know what that is. First you said, "Where's ISIS?" And then you say, "Where's ISPs?" I don't know about that one. But that's going to do it, guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end it on that note. We did pretty good. Did about an hour, 10 minutes at most. You got me, man. You got me. See another question coming. You got me. I don't know. But that's going to do it. I want to hear from you guys that's going to be listening to this on demand, as this will be available shortly on all great platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher. Just use the keywords, The RCWR Show. Follow me on Twitter at The RCWR Show. Like our Facebook page, Infinity One Productions. Also, check out our website. We're posting great content on there on a weekly basis. Infinity One Productions. That's with an E. Put in the actual number one, infinityOneProductions.com. Your next edition of the RCWR Show is going to be coming at you live Tuesday night. I said September. I'm jumping ahead already, guys. Forgive me. Tuesday night, December 15th. 10 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday night, December 15th, 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Spreaker. Got a lot of stuff we'll be covering on that one. A lot of big news has gone on, so make sure you join us for that one. And that is going to do it. If you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe. Love to have you. You enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a like. There should be a little like with a little heart icon. You guys that's going to be listening to this podcast on YouTube, give me that thumbs up. When you give that thumbs up, you're showing your love and appreciation for us YouTube video creators. Share all throughout social media. Until next go around, please, everybody, be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Everybody, do take care.